Interstate 70 is probably the most traveled road in Ohio County, and according to Sheriff Tom Howard, it may also be one of the most dangerous. So he and his crew are looking at different ways to make it much safer for everyone who travels it. Kate, as we just told you at the end of News 9 Live at 5, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, has just touched down here at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport in Air Force One as he's expected to head to West Banco Arena for a private fundraising event. As you can hear people cheering, there's many supporters here. Kate, Rich, it has been an emotional scene over the last few minutes outside of OVMC, where employees just told me about 10 minutes ago that they were informed in a meeting that started at 5:30 that both OVMC and EORH will be closing in the next 30 to 60 days. It's now been just under 3 weeks since the Wheeling Suspension Bridge was shut down when a coach bus tried to pass through. And now many officials are reaching out to the Department of Highways to let them know how important this bridge is to the area. This is considered to be a total loss. And again, it was cold, it was windy, but another tough part of this fire was the fact that there were chemicals inside. People in Ohio County are getting ready to jump into the summer months as the Wheeling Pool opens here at Wheeling Park. Kate, that investigation was never made public to the media, but a report by the Washington Post said that the investigation found that former Bishop Bransfield had spent over $350,000 in gifts to other members of the clergy. Kate, Rich, the suspension bridge has signs on both sides of it that look just like this. Ones that say no trucks, no trailers, but this one right here is the big one, the weight limit being 2 tons. Kate, Rich, Wheeling police responded to a call of a man who was passed out in his car in a parking lot on Washington Avenue. When police arrived on scene and the man woke up, though, things got a little bit crazy.
Apparently he sees a police officer, panics, and he runs from the police. He runs across Washington Avenue. He jumps somehow into Big Wheeling Creek.
35-year-old Sean Michael Anderson thought the waterway was the perfect way to get away from police. He followed the creek for a few hundred yards before getting out somewhere in the Edgewood neighborhood. Police were waiting for him and arrested him shortly after on Bird Avenue. Later, a check of the vehicle showed why Anderson decided to run.
After fleeing from the police and searching the vehicle, there were drugs that were found inside of his vehicle, cocaine, some heroin, some pills as well. There were also multiple felony warrants, it appears, for this person out of Ohio and up the river as well in West Virginia in Hancock and Brooke County.
Anderson was arrested and is being charged with obstructing an officer and possession of a controlled substance. Stahl says good police work and quick thinking were key in making sure Anderson did not get away.
You know, it was good police work to get this person arrested as quickly as they did, considering the fact of all the elements running, across traffic into a creek, into a different neighborhood, and trying to identify this person as well and getting a clear picture on who they're trying to arrest.
Anderson is currently being housed in the Northern Regional Jail with cases pending against him in Ohio, Hancock, and Brooke counties. Live in Wheeling, I'm Jaime Baker, News 9 Live at 5. Interstate 70 is probably the most traveled road in Ohio County, and according to Sheriff Tom Howard, it may also be one of the most dangerous. So he and his crew are looking at different ways to make it much safer for everyone who travels it.
The last study done was over 55,000 cars per day. A new study needs done, so I'm sure it's a lot higher.
Howard says there's been over 60 accidents this year on this stretch of I-70 called 2 Mile Hill. He wants to make drivers more aware of the dangers, which include a steep grade and a sharp turn. Howard has applied for grants for electronic signage to warn drivers to slow down. And he's looked into new ways to line the roadway in case a vehicle loses control.
We've talked cable barriers, we've talked guardrail. Preference would be a concrete barrier. Put a concrete barrier, that will stop, cars will at least bounce off, the trucks will bounce off if they put the big beanie up. Trucks go right through guardrail, we've proved that time and time again.
Changing speed limits has also been discussed, though Howard thinks that could cause even more issues. While his office has upped patrols in the area, he says it's a really tough spot to deal with because it's not safe to park a cruiser or pull over another car on that stretch.
We need some kind of a turnaround in the center so we can actually enforce. My guys can safely sit there. All deputies can sit somewhere on 2 Mile Hill and safely enforce it. Safety for them, safety for the public.
The sheriff has been in talks with Senator Bill Ehlenfeld and Congressman David McKinley to get federal help for the highway. And he hopes this communication can get him the help he wants to prevent more wrecks and fatalities in that area.
We've made some motion, got some action going now, so we're talking about it. Everybody's talking about it, so that's what we're trying to do, get it out there and keep going.
In Ohio County, I'm Jaime Baker for News 9.